What's up, YouTube? We are live here, Sub and Doug Prediction Show with our boy Richie from GoldBoys and myself, Scarlox. We got UFC 317 giving us a great international fight week. We'll go into each fight, break it down, and we'll also recap some betting angles and kind of different ways we want to bet the fight and what we think will happen and how we want to bet it. It's going to be a great one. We got Pantosia, Kaikara France in the co-main for a belt, and we got Ilia against Charles Oliveira. Let's dive into it.
Let's get it, boys.
We're starting off with a fight filler, Jacoby Smith and Nico Price. How do you like this one going?
Well, what's up, brother? Good to be back. Hopefully this time we get everything a lot smoother on this production than last time. But for this one, I like this fight. The odds. I don't have the odds written down for this one. I know that you could pull them up
Minus
pretty quick
2,000
on
Jacoby, plus 900 for Nico.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
Yeah, I think this is basically. I think they're just the UFC's kind of done with Nico Price. He's always been kind of like a little filler journeyman type fighter. Smith, they're trying to. He's one of their little darlings. They're trying to pump up right now. Nico, 35. I don't think he has it anymore. He usually, every time, last few fights that I've lost money betting against him, he catches somebody. But I think,
something.
yeah, I think this one's Smith all the way. What's Smith at again? Isn't he like minus 1,400?
He's minus 2,000. The under 1.5 is at minus 220. Nico has 8 losses in the ring. We're looking at 5 KOs. Jacoby's got 10 wins, 8 by KO. It's from what we've seen. It's pretty straightforward. Round 1 KO.
Yeah, that's
value's probably on round 2. And then maybe for crazy value, Jacoby gasses, maybe gets nervous, maybe Jacoby Smith by decision, depending on that line. It could be insane.
yeah.
But
And I'm curious what FanDuel will have for round 1, round 2 KO. It's got to be.
Yeah, I don't think we have that one
minus
yet.
190.
Yeah,
Or I think I guess right around there.
Yeah, I think this one's just going to be pretty straightforward. We don't got to dive into it too much here. I think we're both on the Jacoby Smith side. And I think Nico is just, it's a fight.
It might be a fade spot, too. Just like avoid all these odds altogether. The 2,000, what is that? 20 to 1 odds?
Yeah. No, it's parlay piece. DraftKings did have, there's 2 things I did like when I was going through like odds. We had Jacoby Smith, the over half round minus 280, and then fight to not start round 3 was minus 400. So 2 different little things. If you needed like something to get minus 200 to even, I kind of like that either option there. But again, pretty straightforward. Second fight up on the card, we got a heavyweight bout. We got Mr. Janata Dinez versus newcomer UFC debutant Alvin Hines.
Yeah, this one, this one I'm all over Dinez. I think this one's pretty clear for me. Alvin Hines basically is, so Alvin Hines, he's a prospect. He comes from LFA. He's not someone that could really see going like the full distance. He's going to come underside in LFA. He's 7-0, but he's always been, I was looking up a lot of the film, he's always been the bigger guy there. He's stepping in here, 6'4" Dinez versus Hines 6'2". He's really, really sloppy, so he's one of these guys that he likes winging big blows, and I could just see him, I just see him like bull rushing, trying to bull rush Dinez, and Dinez is, he's pretty good, man. He's pretty accurate with his punches, so I'm expecting like a quick knockout, man. I don't see this going past, round 2. That'd be insane. I'm looking at the under 1.5 for this one, actually, if not a round 1 KO for Dinez. To be honest, and I think the odds are pretty nice, man. I've been thinking about putting this in a parlay because last I looked, he was like minus 300, and I don't see this getting out of round 1.
So this one's been a really weird one since they announced this the switch. Dinez started out minus 800, went all the way down to minus 200, and then right after this last fight ended and everyone kind of shifted, their look, he's been getting hit back up to minus 325. I did think, and I think this is why that line went from minus 800 to minus 200. Alvin Hines has got a decent ground game. He has a couple submissions, and he knows how to at least be aggressive on the ground. So if this does get to the ground, anything can happen there for him. But I mean, Dinez has showed he can fight at a slower pace and really take his time. And I think that's what we're going to see here. I think he's just going to slowly pick him apart. I'm interested to see what round two, round three KO will be. That's kind of what I'm going to look at, or maybe as a parlay piece, Denise, and maybe like over 2 minutes or over 2.5 to kind of get that juice down. I don't mind him as a parlay piece. The more I look at this fight, the more it's just be really shocking to see a debut guy just come in and start, a heavyweight that's
That'd be
showing some
insane.
promise.
Yeah, not Denise, man. I'd be like insane. I mean, obviously, this is everybody's got a puncher's chance, man. But I'd be so blown away if he was able to take. I mean, I've watched the film on him, and he's just so sloppy, man. And I mean,
I
I
think it was
guess
the Carl Williams fight that he did catch him in the first round a little bit. Obviously, Carl doesn't have that knockout power, but I'm wondering if, as you said, puncher's chance. If Hines can catch him a little bit, maybe take him to the ground, it could get really dicey. I think it could be one of those ones where, live betting, maybe something happens in the first couple minutes and Denise drops to even money, and then he pulls
what
away. Could be a
what are you
nice
seeing
little
for odds right now
for which one?
for Denise? Because when I was doing all the
On
research
DraftKings,
last
it's
night, I was looking
minus.
it up earlier. It was minus 300.
Yeah, DraftKings minus 325.
Man, I think it's gonna keep
FanDuel
going.
minus
I think it,
310.
I think it'll be over minus 400 by like Saturday, man.
Yeah, that disc literally just 3-4 days ago was minus 200. So you got in at that time. You're really liking it.
Yeah, some
Speaking of
Denise
good
and maybe
lines and
Pantosia.
missing out. Yeah, speaking of good lines and missing out on things, this next fight, boy, I'll tell you, Jackson McVeigh against Chris Ewert. Man, I was on the fade Dumas train. I got Jackson at plus money. I was so happy. I had him in so many different plays, and then he's minus 180. And then apparently Dumas can't get clearance in time. Rumors about his ankle monitor can't come off and things like that. So
Yeah, they
we got
put
this.
it. I looked it up. I think it's true, man. I think they put in like a judge's order with his lawyer that that he was going to be guarded or protected. He wasn't going to be like he was going to run away or whatever they call it when you like flee. But they couldn't get the judge's order in time to have him released for the ankle monitor because he had just gotten arrested. It was like home invasion, man. Like he was found in a freaking
Man's
dog crate.
violence. Yeah.
He was found in a dog crate hiding by police. It was a home invasion robbery.
Yeah, it's crazy they put this guy on the card, but I mean, again, they're desperate. I mean, it's crazy. This has been the thing this whole last year. You know it. We all know it is International Fight Week. It's supposed to be the creme de la creme. Great fights. We need to have it stacked 1-14, 1-15, and here we are with 10 fights, and they're filling in just fillers because they didn't prepare. So it's,
Yeah, the Costa fight got canceled. That one hurt, man. That was going to be a fun one.
at least we still got that a month from now. But yeah, you would think that would be a mandatory to stay on.
Yeah.
But hey, it is what it is. They want to make Dustin Poirier's last card at least look decent. But with McVeigh, I know you just taped this one. What do you like in this one?
Well, now, so to be honest, man, I was actually on the Dumas side as an underdog just because I felt like he's fought the better
Ooh.
competition. And then with the fact that he was in trouble, my only thing with that last fight was that I thought if Dana's bringing him in a fight, Dana must know something we don't know, and maybe it's one of these things where Dana's like saying, like, "Let me save this kid. He's a troublemaker, but I could change his life if I could just." And I thought maybe Dumas was going to take that and like say, like,
Another KO could help the CTE for him, right? I like it. I like it.
yeah, but the Jackson McVeigh, yeah, I looked up some film. I like the kid's grit. He's very tough. He's very durable. He goes in there. He finishes people. Like I like his record that it's 3-3 by sub and KO. He's a big guy. He was a really, he's 6'4", I believe. I looked up Christopher E. Oh, the other thing, sorry about McVeigh, before I forget, is that McVeigh trains with Charles Johnson at the same gym. So that's the other thing that I liked about McVeigh, especially now going against Ewert. Ewert is, I don't know how the hell they found this kid, man. This kid, he's like 7-0 on like the Chile. He's from Chile, man, and he's like, regional scene from Latin
Oh,
America.
so he was supposed to fight on the Dana White Contender Series, and they tapped into that market and got him ready to go
Is that where he
instantly.
came from, man? It's
Yeah,
like I
it
like
was
all
trying to
his
fight
film is so
September.
rough, and then thank God I speak Spanish because a lot of the film that you watch, it's all like with the Spanish announcers.
There you
It
go.
feels like you're watching MMA soccer or something, like when you watch soccer in Spanish. It's hilarious, but he's gonna be smaller. He's stepping up in weight. He hasn't fought since January, so he's just not ready, man. He's a little fluffy. I think McVay rolls him pretty quickly here, and I think it's this is now that I said the 3-3 KO sub. Like I like him double chance KO sub. I think he
Speaking
finishes
of
him
no
as well.
turnaround, McVeigh just fought 11 days ago on that
Yeah.
LFA card.
Yep.
That's pretty
I thought I
impressive.
had. I thought I had. Yeah, he fought
He's
two
staying
weeks ago,
busy. hmm
but no
I like
damage, right?
McVeigh.
He finished him what? That one he finished by was that KO?
He finished that one by KO. Yeah, he's been alternating. We got KO, and then he had a Darce choke the fight before against Ben Fowler.
And a
So
Darce, I like when you finish with like like that's the
I
other
think, yeah,
thing.
he
That's a
knows
good
what he's
point.
doing. I think if we do get an SGP for this one, same game parlay on DraftKings, I'm kind of leaning towards. I mean, we don't know odds yet on this one. I'm hoping it's not worse than minus 400. If it is,
There's nothing yet.
yeah, I'm thinking let's. I want to attack. Like, I don't think he finishes him quickly. I think I want to maybe like half a round and get some value down that way. But if this is anything above minus 600 or something crazy like that, then it's going to be a pass. I mean, we're pretty much betting on an LFA fight on a UFC prelim for International Fight Week at that point.
Yeah, he didn't even. Where did he come from? He didn't even come from LFA. He came from Fury. Yeah, he came from Fury. His nickname is the Tank.
Oh, you talking about Ewert? Yeah, no,
Yeah, yeah.
he's very fresh.
All
So
right,
yeah,
so yeah,
not
now I'm
much. I
curious
feel
for
like
this
there's
next
not
one,
much
man.
to talk about that fight, especially when we don't have a lot of line movement. This next fight, I mean, this is one of my favorite fights of the card. It's a Terrence McKenna fight. Can't go wrong with it. With he's fighting Slavika Claus, who I mean has some of the worst ground game that I've ever seen. It's just not hot knife through butter. I mean, we saw that with Chase Hooper. That's what I think is going to happen here. I like two angles. I like McKinney round one. Just round one, I don't really want a KO sub. It's kind of like pick your poison because he could just go for the KO or the sub. It's kind of like what he wants to do. And then also, I really like the under because if he doesn't, maybe gasses himself out or anything like that, we've always seen it, then he will get finished. So I think both of those two are going to be great angles. And then if they do drop takedown lines for this fight, if we are lucky to get either, just a half round, like a half takedown for McKinney, I love the over on that. But if we get 1.5 or 2.5, I love the under because I feel like one takedown's all we're going to need here. What do you think for this one?
Yeah, so I'm excited about it. I always like every Terrence McKinney. Like honestly, it's like weird being a fan of this kid that's such a crash out when he fights because like I watch a lot of film
Entertaining.
and I look for things like on Instagram and all those videos, and so you have videos online of him like talking about preaching patience and all of that, and so that's what his team's trying to implement in his head. And this kid, once that bell rings, I think he throws all that shit right in the garbage. And it's just like, bam, he just goes right in there and wants to just throw blows immediately. So yeah, I don't know what to expect, man. I really think, like you pointed out, his ground game is actually a lot. It's pretty underrated, and every fight that Borshev has been taken down, at will, he seems to lose, and I'm hoping McKinney just doesn't stand up and just throw blows and get into one of these little rampage fights of just exchanging back and forth where he just gets caught and he's out. I hope he's smart, takes him down, and I'm really, really interested in, I think you mentioned it, his subline. Like, that's what I'm going for here. I want to see what his subline's going to be.
I mean, even it was the last fight against Demir, right? He takes him down. He's going for the sub. It's right there. And then he just starts punching him. So,
But if it gets out of round one, man, it's a really nice live
yeah.
opportunity for Slava, dude.
If we get a good line, I remember him fighting Ribovics, or not even Rubovix. I think it was Sadikov. Yeah, it was Nazim Sadikov. I remember just watching that, and the books were on it right as that like round three or like minute three, minute four, round one. You just see the line flip. So hopefully they don't see it this time. If it does get extended, definitely going to be have to pull the trigger before the end of round one. I feel like they kind of try and correct it at the end, but yeah, I don't know. Slavikos 8-5-1. Just, I mean, it's an entertaining fight in the night potential, 100%. So, I mean, we need more of those fights on this card. We got a female fight next. We got, right outside of Phoenix here where I'm at, Tracy Cortez fighting Vivian Mrojo. It's a good one. I mean, for me, I mean, I saw this stat, when looking at these two females, they have 19 fights for Vivian, and then Cortez has 13. And I think there's only one finish out of all of their fights. It's like pretty insane. And right now I'm seeing ESPN bet over under -750. And then we're seeing DraftKings at -660. I've never seen something like this. So, I mean, for me, I think it's Cortez. She really knows how to just you know, she doesn't fight down to her competition. So I feel like with her, it's going to be, I think, Cortez by unanimous decision is going to be my thing. Or I'm just going to use her as a parlay piece, -250, pair it with like a Dinez. Not get too cute with this because I don't feel like there's any value in even parlaying the over-under of 2.5. At -660, there's nothing for me. So I like Cortez in this one. If we do get 6 strikes, I like her to have more strikes. I think Vivian's just going to be a little outmatched wherever this fight goes. What about you?
Yeah, I'm on the same side. I'm big on Cortez's fight. She's gonna be a little bit bigger, taller. She's got like an inch on her. She's giving up 3 inches on reach, but that's okay because I think Cortez, like you mentioned, her striking is just leagues better, in my opinion. I think when it comes to grappling, they're dead even, in my opinion. So I think that's kind of like just be a wash right there. I don't see them really, either one of them really trying to go down. I can see Araujo thinking like, hey, maybe if I can get her down and wear her out. But I just don't, even if she does that, and we get some decent Cortez odds after round one, like if she survives, Araujo slows down pretty bad in her gas time. I mean, she's 38 years old, I think, right now. And Cortez is like 31, 32. So yeah, I'm on the Cortez side. I think the -230 odds honestly are a pretty good number. And like you said, I'm looking at her as a parlay piece. I got my hand caught last week betting on freaking women, so I got to watch out. Last week, what was it? Mullins, man. The rematch after she destroyed her.
I think we're going to see a big difference here. Unlike those two low fight IQ, where they just don't use their grappling, they have Cortez here, where she's fighting everybody in this division. She has the experience and she comes from a good fight camp. She has good coaching. So I don't think we're going to see the same lapses that we see. And the nice part about this is it's a quality fight. I mean, it's the only women's fight of the whole card. So I think it's nice to see that, she just has kind of like a way to get back into the top 10 rankings here.
For sure. But yeah, I like pairing her. And one of my we haven't talked about him yet. But one of my favorite parlay pieces I think that we're going to gift is freaking Pantoja. So like Tracy Cortez and Pantoja is one of the ones that I'm looking into for a parlay piece.
Pantoja, we'll get to that. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely been one of the fighters that have won me the most money betting on UFC.
His odds, I mean, if they're going to change,
he's always disrespected. And everybody always has an avenue where they feel like he's going to lose. It's his time. They keep showing, he's the best flyweight in the world. But we'll tap into that one. We got the last fight of the early prelims here, I believe. Hyder Emil against Jose Delgado. Freaking car crash here. Just going to be two guys that just, first round, they throw, and they throw. And this fight's, I'm not picking a side on this one. Bet Online has fight to end in KO at +175. If we get anything like that for this fight at all on any of the other books, that's going to be my play. I'm just going to hope for violence and enjoy this fight. What about you?
Yeah, I'm on the same thing. Right now, I'm looking at inside the distance. The under 2.5 right now was minus 160. Last I looked at it, it's something that's like intriguing. Emil blows me away, man. This dude is like a machine. He's 35 years old. It's wild for me to consider someone like 35 years old thinking like this dude is an up and coming prospect because he was impressive with me against Gomes. Even though I thought Gomes won because they went the full distance and Emil really turned it up in the third round. And I thought Gomes really won rounds 1 and round 2. Round 1 was the one that I think lost Gomes the fight because it was like it was a little bit of a toss-up. It was only like 1 or 2 punches off, but I still think like Gomes had that round, and they gave it to Emil, so I was kind of shocked. This is one that it's kind of neutral for me. I think Delgado's going to be just a little bit bigger. I just hope that he can keep up with the pace of Emil because Emil brings like this insane freaking pace, man. He throws so many damn punches. So it might be one that like like I like taking the spreads and all that. So like maybe on DK Delgado, who's the favorite right now? Still, is it Emil? Emil's it flipped, right? Emil started as a favorite and it flipped.
Uh-huh.
And Delgado's the favorite now. So like it could be a 3.5 for Emil seems like a blessing in this. Once that number's out, I'm really curious what that's going to be because I'd like the 3.5 for Emil, and then I like the under or not to go the distance as well, but. Who does he train with? I had a note for, I think Delgado. He trains with Sugar Sean. He trains with Mario Bautista and Jared Cannonier.
Yep, out here, right in the valley.
Yep.
It's actually surprising we didn't see him on the the Batista Sean O'Malley card with Patchy Mix. I thought that would have been a perfect fit to kind of just lump them all together. Was hoping we would get it in Phoenix, but they just love New Jersey. But interesting note about Hyder Emil is this man loves fighting as underdog. Last 3 fights he closed at plus 165. He against Lee he closed at plus 155, and then against Gomes he was plus 180. So I mean this fight he keeps kind of going up, and on this one, as you saw, it flipped. But this is going to be Delgado's toughest test. So if you do like a side here, I would think Emil is not a bad play. The guy shows he's got it. Delgado looks just as good, so it'll be very interesting to see how this fight, this goes. I guarantee you, if it does get extended, it'll be a good live bet opportunity for either side. One concerning thing about Hyder, though, is he is 35 years old.
Yeah, that age.
So, wondering how that's going to transition. But again, the card starts picking up from here. I believe the next fight we have here is...
Did we move in? This is going to move us to the main event now, right? Because of all the cancellations?
No, we have the featured prelim. Jack Hermanson versus Gregory
Rodriguez.
I'm
sorry, okay, so this is the featured prelim.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, we only have 12 fights. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, I said that earlier, man. I'm shocked that they didn't have, like, for this card, it blows my mind, a pay-per-view event like this, that you don't have more things in your back pocket ready. Because, I mean, even, I think it was like 13 to 14 fights. And then, like, I mean, you're in jeopardy now. You have 12 right now. You barely saved the McVeigh fight.
Let's say a fight or two get folded.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine only 10 fights.
I know. For a pay-per-view, bro, they would blow my mind. I mean, they haven't even gotten to the scale yet.
Knock on wood, but imagine if it's one of the top 3 or 4 fights.
Is Jake Paul going to save our Saturday, bro? Fighting against Chavez?
This next fight is actually one of the fights that I actually don't... I mean, I'm on the dog here for Jack Hermanson. I'm just kind of waiting because I feel like it's kind of very similar to the Jared Cannonier situation where, RoboCop's going to look good. And it's gonna, but if Jack can survive that first round, same thing against Pfeiffer. I'm gonna like where Hermanson looks, and I'm probably not gonna do anything until after the first round, because Jack by points at only plus 280, or maybe Jack round 3 at plus 2900. Those are gonna be the kind of things I'm looking at. But on the Jack Hermanson side, he's shown constantly that he looks like he can just push the pace and his durability and his experience. And RoboCop, has shown this to be a problem for him when it's, will he correct his mistakes, or will we see the same fighter that keeps doing the same problem? So I kind of like just, attacking that and sticking to one of the few dog picks of the card for me. What about you?
Yeah, this one I've been a little torn on right now. Like, what has me torn is that, like, so the Rodriguez, a lot of people have been mentioning his gas tank. I've seen a lot of that online. But the Rodriguez fight, his last fight against Jared Cannonier, that was like 5 rounds. And he killed it round 1. He looked good in round 3, I believe. And I feel like he was stretching his gas tank for that fight a little bit for the 5 rounds. And ultimately it got to him because, he was going for the finish. And a couple times that he had hurt really, really bad. And we thought that fight, for a point, I thought he had Cannonier out, and the ref didn't stop, and then he was just dead to the world. And that's when, Cannonier kind of took over there. So this one being a 3-round fight, it changes things. I don't think Hermanson is good enough to do anything really on the ground that G-Rod couldn't handle, or Gregory Rodriguez couldn't handle or give back. I think Gregory Hernandez is going to be stronger. Jack Hermanson, he was impressive against Pfeiffer. Especially for the fact that Pfeiffer's known for his hands, and Hermanson was able to basically, kind of hang in there with him and eventually take over the fight. I just don't think he has the power to put away Gregory Rodriguez standing up. And
No.
if it goes to decision, I can see Gregory just winning the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
And even if he's gassed out, like, I think he just survives round 3, man. I just think he lives that 3rd round. And I think worst case scenario, him by decision, 29-28.
One thing that I love on DraftKings, we go over it all the time, are the spreads. One, though, that I always like to do is value-wise. So we have Jack at plus 3.5 at plus 100. But I really like him at minus 120 for the plus 5.5, just to guarantee, hey, we just need only 2 judges to give us 1 round. I think he wins round 3. So...
Yeah. And look at how we just did last week, too. We cleaned up on, what was it? I found on the main event last week, the underdog.
Roundtree. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
Roundtree.
We were both on Roundtree.
Roundtree, not only we were on him as an underdog, but because he was the underdog, you could have bumped up his alternate fight lines. It was plus 13.5, was minus 170. I was like, are you kidding me? So, I mean, I wonder what Jack Hermanson is. You adjusted here.
It being 5 rounds, everyone was kind of on it being, just going to be over. Like, I noticed that with the DraftKings spread lines, if they, you have something like that, essentially they're not thinking it's going to go to the distance. So,
yeah, so if you do 7.5 for Hermanson, plus 7.5, he has minus 140.
Yeah.
That's insane. And there's more. Actually, oh no, that's the
just
the max. Yeah, that's the max.
Yeah, I like that
crazy.
minus 120. I mean, that first round is going to be dicey.
Yeah, that's where you just need to survive round.
This could be one of those fights, we see it all the time, where RoboCop gets up to like a minus 5, 6, 700. In the middle of round 2, there's going to be a transition period. When it happens, that's going to, because it happened with the Piper, it's going to happen at some point. But will it happen enough where you could live bet Hermanson and he comes back? Because I think we could see Hermanson plus 3, plus 400, and then you get your live bet, and then hopefully you can get in on the other side in the 3rd round. Kind of like that Blades Kuz fight where, Blades was, I think, minus 800 or 700 in round 1. Then Kuz was minus 800 after round 2, and just playing it that way. Close fight, should be a good one. I've been seeing a lot of RoboCop love, so it'll be interesting to see how this one goes. So you think RoboCop by decision?
Yeah, right now I'm going RoboCop by decision because, Hermanson got beat up by, what was it, Dolce, I think, is the one that really took him down because Hermanson tried to go down to the ground with him, and then Dolce got his back, and it got stopped by the ref from I think just punches from behind.
Is that the calf slicer one?
I don't know. No, I think it was finished. The ref stopped it. It was taking punches. It was marked, I think, a knockout. strikes from
Yeah.
behind, like he was like
Yeah,
holding him.
punches from back
So I
control,
mean,
yeah.
yeah. So like Rodriguez, like he could do that too. That's like his one of his specialties. He kind of reminds me of Rodriguez fights a lot like the heavyweight right now that wants to fight Tom Aspinall right now,
How
the
about
other Brazilian.
Scott?
No,
Or
no, no.
Almeida?
Almeida. Rodriguez fights a lot like Almeida with that bully you down, muscle you to the ground, and beat you up on the
Nah,
ground.
Neil's different though, man. That dude's a dog. That
I
dude
mean, yeah,
just
he's
will.
humongous. That's why.
That
But
fight
G
just
Rod for the weight class, he fights very similar like that
the
Brazilian
fact that he
style.
had 9 takedowns against Blades in round one. Imagine hitting your takedown ladder in the first round.
Yeah. I
Oh
mean, yeah,
man,
the
that's
mother of
good.
all ladders in round one.
Alrighty, Richie. We got UFC 317 main card. First fight here. I know you wanted to cue it up. Let's get to it.
So this one, yeah, I'm just pumped up, man. The return of Peyton Talbot since his last fight where he was upset by Raoni Barcelos. And I think right now it's still this year's like biggest like gap like upset of the year because I think Talbot at
Minus
that one was
1,500.
yeah. So it was the biggest upset of the year for sure. Uh, but I'm a little sad, man. They're feeding this guy. They're not making it easy. Like I was hoping because he was like a UFC darling, and it went from basically everyone loving him and everyone being like, "Oh, he's a fraud" and all of that. Now, I was hoping the UFC would give it to somebody that he had a solid chance against. But Felipe Lima, they're feeding him to a little beast right now. Felipe Lima, to me, out of the two, is the one that just has a little bit more skill all around. I think he could keep up with him in a stand-up, but I really think that where he's going to shine Lima is if he takes him down. I mean, look at how easy Barcelos, and I know that Barcelos is a champ from, I think he's like a 5-6 time champ in Brazil, grappling, but it seemed pretty easy. I mean, and then Talbot, he was so he was so like I don't know, just frustrated that he couldn't fight to stand back up, and I could see a lot of that happening here with Lima and same thing. So yeah, this one I'm on the Lima side, but this is one bet that honestly, if Talbot could just catch him one time and drop him and make everybody be like, damn it, why did we pass on him again? Why did we pass on him? Like, we basically bought into the last fight. So I hope Talbot proves me wrong, man. I'm a big fan of his, and I hope he could do it. I hope he can knock him out, but I am on the Andre Lima side right now. I'm
Felipe?
hoping that the odds tighten. Yeah, I'm on the Felipe Lima.
There you
Is
go.
that his name?
Oh, you said Andre.
Oh,
You
my
made the
bad.
same
Yeah, Felipe
mistake.
Lima.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think you're hitting the nail right on the head here. It's gonna this fight's just gonna be determined on where it's fought. If we see, Felipe Lima just, fight this as standing fight, I think we're gonna see Payton get into a rhythm, and not in the first round, but in the second and third round. He's been a finisher, but before he has a crazy chin, and he'll just pour it on volume wise. If we can get to that back to that Payton Talbot, this is going to be dog money all day. It's been growing. I think Lima's, tapped minus 200 multiple times. I am scared about this. I don't like, that Ronnie fight showed a lot of red flags and just the inability to even get up. So with this one, I don't.
Can he take a round?
Don't. You said what?
Can he take a round, you think?
And that's where we're going to get into one of my top 3 favorite bets of the whole card. This is a parlay piece, but I did post this in the chat before and in the Discord with Jake Paul and Walsh as to trim the fat down on this. The minus 200 plus 5.5 for Peyton Talbot. We just need 2 judges to give him 1 round. I think that's doable. I don't see Lima finishing him. Talbot has a chin. I think he can just survive on the ground and avoid a sub. But it is still a little scary. I think for Talbot, he just needs to. I'm hoping in this time from the Ronnie fight, he's found a way to just at least somewhat defend the takedown because his striking is so elite. He just needs to get back to it. But if I did want to bet Lima, I want to bet Lima by decision, but that's only plus 100. So the books are already on it. So it's just kind of a tough one. I think, I think I'm just going to stick with the plus 5.5. And then if anything comes out later in the week that pops up, I think, I'll pivot to that. But that's kind of like how I'm looking in this fight. I think we're going to see a 29-28 Lima. And then, it's just kind of like, hey, we need to get Talbot, like, just a, not a better opponent. I mean, I think Felipe Lima could arguably be better than Ronnie, and, he lost his last fight, and they're giving him a tougher opponent. So I don't get what's going on here. But a great fight to start the card.
Yeah,
This
for sure.
next
And
fight,
hold on, not to step on your toes, bro, because I don't like. To be fair, I don't look at any of our bets until like basically fight day till I posted my stuff. So I don't go through like your channel and look at yours because I want to make sure that like I'm just posting what I want off the top of my head. And if we like the same, then we do, and I feel better about it. But if we don't, then I'm like, well, oh shit, we're on the opposite side. But something you just mentioned, dude, if you put Peyton Talbot plus 5.5. Jack Hermanson plus 7.5, and Hyder Mill plus 7.5. I mean, it's almost plus 400.
yeah.
The only one that's scary is the Hermanson. The most for me,
I don't know, man. That Emil fight, dude, that's gonna be a car crash. I don't know.
Yeah.
That fight scares me because I'm just like, they're gonna swing.
I just wonder if Delgado could finish Emil, man. I think if anybody's finishing, I feel like Emil is the finisher, and I feel like Delgado, like I don't know if he could bring the fight the way that Emil can. Like he's gonna have to catch a bit of sub then.
I like Hermanson for the plus. I like Talbot. This next fight is where I actually want to throw in another plus spread because it's just good value. And honestly, this could be fight of the night here. We have Joshua Van versus Brandon Royval. We got the new kid on the block. Not really new, but he's just been fighting every week. He's still really new. I mean, he's fought like 9 times in the last like 2.5 years. The dude's got something special. But short notice fighting against Brandon Royval, who just fought for a championship recently. And I mean, Brandon Royval is going to be much bigger. This is going to be a huge step up in competition. This isn't Bruno Silva. This isn't Charles Johnson. This is a title contender here on short notice. I love what Van does, but this is how I'm attacking this fight. Van's obviously had some easier fights here recently, but a known problem for him was taking that first round off. When he was fighting, just in those kind of right before that, around that Charles Johnson time, and it took him a while to get going. He can't afford to do that here against Royval. So I think Royval wins round 1. So I want to hit Royval money line, and then I want to live bet Van after round 1. And I also love Brendan Royval plus 5.5. I don't see Van finishing Royval. I will say Royval can be very reckless. He doesn't use his height, so those are concerns. Maybe round 3 gets a little dicey, but I think when we're talking about spreads, Hermanson, Talbot, Royval, I think are going to be the ones I'm attacking. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, so this one, I'm on the Royval side myself as well. I like Van, and I want to cheer him on, and I want him to win. Honestly, this is another one where, like, if he upsets he's actually the favorite, I think, right now, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, he lowered. He started, though. Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, insane line.
Yeah, I'm on the Royval side for a few reasons. One, you said size, which is something I was thinking of. One, so it's the size. I think speed-wise, Royval has a speed advantage. He has the kicking advantage too. So that's the one thing the biggest thing I think Van's going to have to avoid is those kicks, because if Royval starts just destroying your legs, that's obviously taking away Van's major advantage, which is his punching power, speed. So he just has to avoid those crazy kicks. This is another one that has like opportunity for fight of the night, man, because the pace that these two can honestly keep up. Because Royval's got a good gas tank too, man. He's fought plenty of 5-round fights.
This is a fight for Van where he usually can rely on his cardio to take over. That's not going to be the case here. Royval has great cardio.
Yeah, and but the only thing that worries me about Royval is that he was online, I think, like just a couple of days ago, and he was saying that if he can't pull this fight off, that he's considering moving up in weight, that he thinks that he can be better at up a weight class. So I'm like, his mind, I don't know where his mind is right now. That's the major concern for me, is where's his head at. But I think if Royval could really focus. Oh, another point that you made about Joshua Van, because you were saying it's short notice. I looked into that as well, but man, he's such a like professional dude. I went on his Instagram, like this dude, like while it is
Oh,
short
he's always
notice,
fight ready. Yeah,
he
he's
went in.
always
No,
fight
he
ready.
went into camp immediately. He fought and
Yeah.
didn't take a day off and went right back in. So it's like he's not really
I
forcing
also
himself
don't
to
think he
make
has to
weight.
cut a. I don't think he has to cut a lot of weight, so it's easy for
Exactly.
him. But at the same time, he's going to be tiny here. Like,
Yeah.
he's going to have a lot of red flags, a lot of disadvantages. But at the same time, if he wins this fight, boom. I mean, with Cop kind of falling out and always pulling out like this one, I think he takes over Cop's number one contender spot, and we could see him fight the winner of Pantosia Kaikara.
Yeah,
So
for
I mean,
sure.
talk about exploding on up the ladder here.
God, don't feed him to Pantosia though. I'd rather see him fight Kai
Yeah,
Kara,
that's where
bro.
I think,
Change
I
blows.
think that's where it ends. Yeah.
Don't feed him to Kai or to Pantosia yet, man. I'd rather even if Kai even if Kai loses, make him fight Kai next.
Well, here's the thing, though. Pantosia's cleaned out the division. He needs a new face. Who else would he fight? Cop's not
Take
going
him
to get
in.
rewarded because he just pulled out again. I think it has to go to Van.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, everyone else. I mean, we can't do Moreno again. I mean, Pantosia just beat him 3 times.
Yeah, I
Ursay
know. And
falling off
Moreno
a
actually
cliff.
his last fight, he looked good in his last one, so who knows?
If,
He's gonna ask for it.
another name that's kind of really fallen off a cliff, too, is Amir Albazi. If he could have
Yeah.
just stayed active, he could have gotten a title shot, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure.
But we'll see. I mean, again, I think you just are going to have these fights here that are just. I almost don't want to bet them. I just want to enjoy them because that's the one shitty thing about gambling. Sometimes you want to sometimes just watch a fight and enjoy it. Like that Mata Sadikov fight from last weekend, amazing, just pure cinema. The
Yeah, for
dude's
sure.
just covering up and saying, "Hey, I'm going to tire you out with 100 punches," and then just takes off.
Yeah.
3 fights left. This is going to be another fun one in terms of another spread opportunity. I feel like it sucks because this is the second time it's been booked. And we've seen a huge line change from the first time. We got Renato Moicano from minus 250 down to minus 122 against Beneil Dariush, who's only plus 102 this time. For me, I think it's. I love Dariush at plus 180. I felt like we could have gotten a good plus money there. Now it's kind of in the past territory. I like Dariush, but this is not 2-3 years ago. Now it's kind of in that dangerous territory where his chin is just not there. Luckily, he's fighting Moicano, who isn't a KO guy. So this is kind of his perfect matchup where hey, you can use your black belt defensive skills. You can use your strength in wrestling. If he can just do the old school Beneil where he gets physical, takes him down and just wears on him. I mean, I think Beneil by decision is a very plausible line. I was hoping we could have got this for even money, but I saw on DraftKings MGM we had Dariush decision only at minus 145. I think that's a great parlay piece, just kind of a free roller. I think Moicano is kind of finish or bust here. But, I mean, we'll see. I think I'm interested to see the Moicano KO line as well. I think they're probably on it. Plus 500, not bad. Not great, but, I mean, it's just going to be interesting. I think if another angle that I hadn't written down here was Moicano KO only at plus 115. I don't think that's bad with how bad Dariush's chin is. So just a couple different avenues. What do you think for this one?
Yeah, so this one I'm on the right now I'm on the Moicano side just because I feel like he's got a little bit of the youth factor on his side. He's got the height of just fighting even though he got smoked, Islam. The only thing that worries me about Moicano is that I wonder sometimes where his head at right now because I couldn't find a lot of him on his training camp, and I wonder how serious he's taking this fight. I hope he doesn't really sleep on Dariush because Dariush, he's still really, really freaking talented, man. If he gets dragged to the mat by Dariush, I could easily see Dariush submitting Moicano. So that was one of the ones that I was going to look into, which is Beneil Dariush by submission or Moicano by finish. or by KO, and I think that one it's plus 255. So Dariush by sub or Moicano by KO. Is one that I liked.
I would
Just to sprinkle
so
on.
I love those plays. I just wish more books offered them because DraftKings, there's certain things DraftKings doesn't do well. Double chance, DraftKings never does well. It's always like so off on the market. And I feel like those types of plays, like I think Islam KO and Charles Sub is like minus 330, and it's like that's unplayable.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but
you're better
that
off
one's not a
playing
bad
them
number there. So
individually.
that was one of the ones that I have for that fight that I'm looking into. But that one, yeah. But I mean, if I'm like I said, straight up, right now I'm on the Moicano side. I don't mind a minus 122. For
Yeah,
him,
it's
I
good to
think
that
as
point.
long as he just if he can keep it standing, which I think he can, I could just see him just kind of like pointing his way to a win.
Yeah, I mean,
And
Beneil
then
36. What
a
two
parlay
eight
piece
two
though,
fight losing
Moicano though.
streak?
Moicano plus 5.5 is minus 250, man.
Not bad, honestly. I
No.
mean,
You want to play that
I
with like
mean,
another, like your Tracy Cortez or one of the ones that you mentioned before that you liked, like the maybe Hermanson or something like that. That's not a bad play at all.
you
Like
might
for
be
those that are
honest.
trying to play safe.
Beneil's last finish was Scott Holtzman back in 2020 of August.
Yeah, no, I didn't know. Like off the top of my head, no.
No,
But I
and
mean,
that's
dude,
what I'm saying. Like it's
Moicano
been a
plus five
while
and a
since
half.
I mean, the three guys he finished, by the way, were Holtzman, Close, and Camacho. So it's been a minute. He did armbar Drew Dober, but then again, that was over 6 years ago. So that might be a good line there, doing the reverse, taking the favorite and going the other way. I think you might be
Yeah,
onto something there. I am worried though that Derouche. The only thing about that plus 5.5 is I'm
just
worried that
burns.
Derouche just wrestle
Takes him
fuck
down. Yeah,
takes him
wrestle
down
fucks
all
in
three
3 rounds.
rounds,
Yeah,
and we've
that's
just seen
where.
that at 30-27.
Yeah.
Let me see what one other line that usually I always check. Derouche to win by any KO, knockout, submission, or DQ. No, minus 425 on DraftKings. So might play that one just to be super safe and
Hmm.
maybe sprinkle it there because I do like. I think Beneil only wins by decision, but it should be a good one. Does Beneil pull back the clock? Do we see a Beneil kind of like what Usman just kind of did? I think we can see some parallels there where we see someone who attacks, brings the wrestling back and kind of just uses that
I mean,
physicality
it's
against
got to be
someone.
now or never for him, right? Like if he loses here, he's basically turned into
Who is a
like
gatekeeper at
another
that
Kevin
point?
Holland, right? Like another Kevin Holland or like God, what's his name that he fights everybody? He's black, real thin. He's got like the thinning hairline, but he's still got braids. And what's his name that he fights everybody? Another gatekeeper. He turns into one of those, like a Kevin
Mhm.
Holland or I can't think off the top of my head right now.
Another concern here is Beneil hasn't fought since December of 23. We're going on
Hmm.
over 18 months. So a
Yeah,
lot of red flags for Beneil. I mean,
yeah.
there's value there. I see a lot of Usman to fight here where, I mean, I was all over Buckley, made a huge mistake there. But you got to look at it. I mean, Usman had it won in 4 years. He couldn't even, he struggled taking down Edwards in the third fight. You know, it could be very similar to this, where if Darush can use that physicality, he's going to look like an amazing minus 500 favorite. But if he doesn't, it'd get ugly for him.
He has like some of the worst head movement too. It pisses me
It
off how he
doesn't really.
fights because he just goes in there and just takes punches and he tries to basically take hits until he can get close enough to grab you. It's like he doesn't move. He doesn't go for your legs, or he just kind of walks in with his hand and just takes
100%.
punches. That's where I'm like, that's why I'm like a big reason I'm more just right now leaning on the Moicano. Yeah, Dariush 4 years ago, it'd be different right now, but yeah, stick with it.
Another line to attack, and I'm wondering what it's going to look like, is Beneil's takedown ladder. If they give us something crazy for like two or three
Point
takedowns,
five.
yeah, like
Give you a point five takedown. Man.
instead of playing his takedown ladder, I'm just going to play that instead. I think that would be the way to do it. But again, should be a great fight. We have two left. and they're both championship fights. I got my favorite guy on the card. Sounded like your favorite too. Alejandro Pantoja against Kai Kara France. Again, we're seeing Pantoja get disrespected. The line's coming back down. We're only seeing a minus 245. It's a rematch. People forget this, but Pantoja beat Kai Kara on the Ultimate Fighter. Granted, it was 9 years ago. Again, I mean, this kind of just goes in the bucket where, it's similar to the Ursig line, it's similar to the Moreno line, it's similar to the Kai Azakura line. Like, all these Pantoja fights are always in this minus 170 to minus 250 range. And we see this time and time again, he do what he's going to do. Now, granted, the way I'm attacking this is Pantoja, probably like second round to start, or Pantoja, maybe 2 takedowns. That's kind of the way I'm going to get to even money. But I'm using his money line in other parlays. There are 2 bets, though, on the Kai Kara side, though, I've seen that I kind of like. Pantoja not to get a knockout, sub, or DQ. So if that just doesn't happen, on DQ it's only minus 180. I think that's kind of insane. Because Pantoja needs to grapple here. And then if I can get Kai Kara France by decision at plus 500 or higher on any book, or like 550, I'm definitely going to pull the trigger there, because we've seen this throughout the year, where fighters who have this grappling advantage, like an Umar C, or as an example, obviously big difference in experience and skill, but we've been seeing these fighters like a Bilal even, where they don't grapple. So is this the fight where Pantoja doesn't grapple? Because if he doesn't do that, he's not going to look even remotely like his money line. If he just decides, hey, I'm going to just, stand and fight with Kai Kara for 5 rounds and fight Kai Kara's fight, like we've seen some of these guys do for no reason that makes sense at all, then I'm concerned. So I think Kai Kara, or plus 13.5 at minus like 160, I think is another line. Like, those lines are kind of nuts, for what needs to happen for him. Even though I love Pantoja, those seem like they have a good amount of value to them. What about you?
So this one, I'm just heavy on the Pantoja side. I don't see this going all 5 rounds, in my opinion. I think one of my favorite bets for this was Pantoja by submission in rounds 1, 2, or 3. You already saw how Kai Kara did against like someone. Yeah, it's like plus 300.
Yep.
And then I watched is it Albazi? I think it is. Was it Albazi versus Kai Kara? And like you see like how he just couldn't hang in there. He just can't, like, against like grappling at like that high level.
Roy Val fight that he subbed him in just 1 round. Like, I think it was at the start of the second.
Yeah.
And Roy Val, but he's nowhere the grappler as Pantoja.
Oh wait, and then Kai Kara, like, I like his striking. His defense on the mat is decent, but it's just like, I think Pantoja's levels, like the minus 250 for me kind of blows me away, honestly, for Pantoja. I expected like a minus 350 or more. Like, I really thought it was going to be higher. So that's why I'm like, man, like, I wish I had like I don't know, like, I wanted to go in heavy like now, but I'm like, I wonder if we can get a better line. I'm hoping we get a better line. I don't want it to get worse.
Money line and a lot of futures. One thing that did shock me though is, but then you see who he's fought. What Kai Kara's takedown defense is in the UFC? High 80s. But
a lot of people want
to. And really, the only crazy grapplers, you had Askar Askarov, and that's about it. Like, you had Roy Val too, but like, these fights, Kai Kara's been kind of blessed to not face a grappler like this. And Pantoja took him down 9 years ago very easily, multiple times. So that Pantoja wasn't the grappler that he is now. He kind of
he's like, they're both light years better from that, but like, man, Pantoja right now, like, he's just, and the thing is about, like, he's taking
here if he just grapples. If he grapples, everyone's happy. Yeah. We all go home happy. This will be a 3-unit bet later on in the week for me. Is Pantoja total strikes and his money line. I feel like that's going to be even odds on Bet365. I hope it is. but that's going to be a hammer for me because I feel like when he takes him down, he's just going to rack up those strikes. And I just pray to God that he does not stand and bang with Kaikara for 25 minutes, and we just wonder what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want him to go that route, but man, Pantosia could take some damage too, man. Like, I mean, I've seen him beat the hell up.
Yeah.
That what was it, the second burrito fight where they went all
Rear.
5 rounds, man, and he got like, I mean, he was bloodied, and it's just like my man's head is just made of steel. He's got to have some. He's gonna have some insane CTE later on, man, because he's taking some beatings too.
Scary part of his striking defense for Pantosia is 52%, so it's on the low side of the division. But again, granted chin. So unless Kai Karan lands the head kick of all head kicks like he did against Urseg, which could happen, but I just think...
You know who doesn't have a granite chin? Charles Oliveira.
Yeah, that's going to... Speaking of Charles...
yeah. Speaking of non-granite chin having people.
But no, like I said, I think we're both going to see it with our parlays. We're going to be heavy on the Pantosia side.
Oh man, I love him this week. Like I'm like, man, that's going to be one of those ones that if he loses, you know, it's going to hurt.
I am surprised -5.5 is -145. I was hoping that would be even money.
Yeah, a little better.
But main event time here, banger. For however long it lasts, I don't think it's going to last long at all, but we got the main event here. For me, it's pretty simple. DraftKings dropped this line earlier in the week. I really liked it, and was able to play KO in over 2.5 minutes for -105, and Ilia by KO at even money, and then as a small parlay piece, Ilia by finish at -160. So for me, those are kind of the ways I've attacked it. Now that the fight's gotten later on in the week, I think just any under or is going to be great. Or the fight still to end in KO. I just feel like we're going to see violence here. I feel like it's going to be, if we get a knockdown, betting, Ilia, one knockdown, and maybe pairing it with Charles to win actually could be insane. I know we talked in the chat, but I mean, there are some value plays for Charles. His sub line is for rounds 1, 2, and 3 or KO are insane. So this is one of those ones where there's so many different avenues to find value. It's just where will this roulette ball land? Because Charles Oliveira fights are nuts. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here.
Yeah, the ones that you mentioned, like the Charles Johnson, I always try to do like a round robin every week. And for pay-per-views, a lot of time the lines are so crazy that I'll do 2 of them. So I'll do one that would make more sense, that would have the lower lines for a round robin. So like a Ilia round 1, 2, 3 KO, which that this week is that's brutal. But I mean, -105, like Jesus Christ, it's so bad. And then the over 1.5 for this fight is so disrespectful. Like, man, they're really like, God, I hope Charles at least puts up somewhat of a fight, because it's so sad to see the over 1.5 for someone like New Bronx, man. But I do like you mentioned, a submission.
He's going to be really tiny in this fight compared to Charles. So I'm wondering, and this is why I love that KO. It's even money, or it was KO and over round 2.5 minutes, because I feel like there's going to be a feeling out process here, where it's like, Ilia is not a guy that's just going to come in and start throwing. He likes to measure. He likes to feel. Find his pocket. Fine tune it. I mean, look at the Volk fight. It took him a little bit to just get that going. So I think same thing here. But I mean, he's probably going to catch him, and Charles is going to get dropped. It happens almost every fight. Charles gets dropped. But then what does Ilia do? Does he chase him? Does he try and go down with him? Like, what do you do? And that's going to decide it, because if he tries to chase him, Charles can pull a triangle out of nowhere.
But I mean, that Charles round 1, 2, or 3 submission for over +1,000. What is it? 1, 2, 3 is +1,100. I love that line. I'm like, that's absolutely.
If you were to fight 12 times, are you going to tell me Charles can't pull a sub in the first 3 rounds one time?
Yeah, just once. So I'm like, that's in the round robin. That's one of my round robin pieces right there. It's so sad though. The Ilia, man. I mean, those KO lines are so brutal for him. I mean, they're like, they love this guy, because I mean, for rounds 2, 3, or 4 +200 only, that's insane.
I mean, Charles KO round 1, 2, and 3 plus 1,700. Charles KO round 2 or 3 plus 2,900. I mean, we've seen him do this against Chandler
Ilia
and
to
other
land
guys.
a one
It doesn't need to
knockdown
be
minus 190.
You said what?
Ilia to land a knockdown of the entire fight minus 190.
I mean, how
Round
how
one
else-
knockdown plus 180.
I mean, I don't see Ilia dropping him. I mean, minus 190 on FanDuel.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with that. I mean, one knockdown in the fight's minus 240. That's insane.
Charles Oliveira to land a knockdown plus 500.
I mean, Charles doesn't. The Chandler fight was different because Chandler initiated. There's just a lot of weird, situations. And then you had the Armin fight. You had two guys back to back that really were trying to push the grappling. Ilya's not going to do that. I mean, while he does have the sub pedigree, it was against much lesser competition. Now, I mean, he hasn't had a sub in so many years. He's just the knockout guy. And so he's going to stand and bang. And Charles probably stand and bang unless he tries to pull guard or something like that. But that knockdown price, I think, is insane. And, I mean, here's another one. Ilia to land a knockdown in round 1 plus 180.
Here's a crazy one. Ilia Porter to win by KO in the first 30 seconds of round 1 plus 3,800.
I really hope that doesn't happen.
Oh man. I'm putting I gotta put like $5-10 on a couple of these. I mean,
Yeah, no, I think this is going to be just, for as crappy as a card this looks from top to bottom, where there's some international fight week, whole thing. They really did a good job on the fights we do have for the main event and such. So I'm excited.
but this is what we're both on Ilia basically, but we're hoping for Charles Miracle basically. Right?
You got to root for Charles.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like we're both the smart better, the one giving advice to people that are risking their money out there, saying Ilia is basically if they fought 10 times, like you said, Ilia wins at least 9. In my opinion.
Yeah, first fight up a weight class, minus 500, with no grappling advantage, really. Speaking of grappling advantage, I did see this line. If you do like Charles Oliveira, sub only at plus 105 is insane to me. What's going on there? Ilia is not a better submission artist than Charles.
Somebody talked to me about that today. What if? Can you imagine if Ilia submitted Charles though?
It can happen where he, he wobbles him or there's something crazy and they're on the ground and he pulls that arm triangle or something like that. It could happen. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it happened against Bryce Mitchell. It can definitely happen. But he would have to hurt him severely. It's not like he's going to go for that and get it. I feel like it has to be in a club and subs type of scenario, at least. That's what I'm thinking. That's why I just love the fight to end by KO. I think it gets the job done and you can cover both sides.
But yeah, man. I mean, that's basically what I got for now. We can always get back.
I'm excited to see how everything goes, and we'll be posting more bets inside GoldBoys for everyone to see the remainder of the week.
Hey, bro, you want to collab? You want to do one this week? We haven't done a squad ride in a while. Say we do we got to get Sean in on this too, man. Sean always waits his. Yeah, he's Sean likes to wait very, very last second to put he does fight by fight bets, so he'll wait he'll give bets for the first
right
3.
Now, let's each choose based on what we just did right here. Let's each choose 2 lines that we really like. I'll go first with the Talbot plus 5.5. Ooh, I got 3 I really like. Actually, I'm gonna take that off.
I was gonna say I'm gonna take. Honestly, I like Hyder Emil just a plus 3.5.
Okay, we'll rock that. I'm gonna go with my first pick will be Tracy Cortez.
Oh, so we're going that safe then? Because I like Cortez a lot too, man. She's one of my favorites.
Just in that -2. I mean, you do 4 -200s. We're looking at a nice, plus 400.
All right, so yeah, if you're gonna go Tracy Cortez,
I now know where you're gonna go, probably.
No, I'm gonna stick to the Emil side. But if we're gonna go on that end where we want to go a little bit safer, I'll do the Emil plus 7.5.
Okay, I thought you were gonna go.
I mean, that's minus 150. I'm telling you, I don't know if Delgado's going to finish him, man. It's got to be by submission.
He's going, yeah.
So, yeah, the plus 7.5, that's plus 133 right now. So, you got So throw in your next one then.
We'll stick with it. I already said it. Let's go back to it. Wanted to do McKinney under 1.5 at minus 135. I mentioned it earlier, but then we do got Talbot minus 200. Let's go. Let's go McKinney under. We'll go McKinney and under 1.5. Actually, no.
Under
McKinney
1.5 is minus 220.
McKinney rounds 1 and 2 is minus 140 on DraftKings. So let's rock that.
For him to win rounds 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's the. I mean, under 1.5 and McKinney is minus 135. So we're getting an
So
extra.
Terrence McKenna to win in rounds 1 or 2 minus 140. That one.
Yeah.
All right, I got that now.
Extra 5 cents gets you an extra 2.5 minutes, even though he probably doesn't win in that time. Give me that extra value.
Then I mean, I'm just gonna take. I'll just take Pantosia straight up money line.
Can't argue with that one.
I'll put. I
Plus
have a free bet anyways. I'll put. Yeah, I like it. Plus 463, bro.
You heard it here
I'll send
first. Sub and Tug, man. For our first collab. We're going with Cortez, Hyder, and Meal. Plus 7.5. McKinney to win in rounds 1 and 2, and Pantosia. We'll post the collab in the Discord, and let's rock and roll with that. Good early prediction show. We'll probably do another show later in the week with some more bets and some more lines come out. But overall, let's hope UFC 317 is a good one.